So the latest NPC download came in, and as you can see from one of the articles, not the article we're going to be going through, but just one of the many articles that have come out, we're all bigots, sexist, homophobes, istanisms for simply disliking Blood Origin because it's awful. It is downright awful. I'm not going to mince my words. It is the worst pile of garbage I've seen. I thought Rings of Power was worse at one point. I thought Rings of Power was the worst show for 2022. Nope. Hands down, it's Blood Origin. Hands down, Blood Origin takes the cake. Because it was so freaking awful. And my buddy Jed, shout out to Hollywood Scholar. We sat down and EFAP movied this show together. Yeah, we sat down and EFAP'd all 4 episodes back to back. I had to take a break after the first one, had to go do something. So I'll come in halfway through the second episode. Back in. I mean, I was there for the first and came back in during the second. My God, it was so hard. It was so awful. I don't know what the hell I was watching. And mind you, except for maybe one joke that I did, joking about the girl who can't speak, I'll admit it, I made one joke. We weren't ever talking about their skin color, their sexuality, who they were boning, we did at one point because it was actually relevant. We weren't talking about the superficial things. We were actually talking about the story and what was happening. We made a few jokes here or there, but it is what it is. Sometimes you do, and there's some funny ones. But let's just take a look at what some of these headlines are before we go into my favorite one. CBR.com. The Witcher Blood Origin is getting review bombed by novel and Henry Cavill fans. Oh my God, novel fans are review bombing it. Maybe because novel fans actually want what they want. Maybe novel fans don't want whatever that was. Maybe people that actually like the source material want the source material and not whatever this thing is. Oh, no. No, you're just awful people. And Henry Cavill fans, oh my God, Henry Cavill fans are so mean. Just like Henry Cavill. Oh, no, it's people that are still annoyed that, so says that one writer who I can't remember, but pointing out that the showrunners, the crew, people that were working on the show, the writers hated the source material. And Henry loved it. That's why he left. That's why Henry fans are mad, because they know he left because of you people. We have people coming out and admitting it. So quit going around saying, no, that's not true. That's not true. That's a conspiracy theory. We literally have a Bounty in a Comics article, which I should have brought it up. Actually, I will bring it up real quick. Sorry, I had to bring up that article. We have this dude literally pointing out X-Men 97 head writer Buell DeMayo, we'll call him DeMayo, recalls some writers on Netflix The Witcher actively mocked the source material, says this mindset is a recipe for disaster and bad morale. Yeah, maybe that recipe actually worked to get rid of Henry Cavill. So maybe Henry Cavill fans are pointing out why Henry Cavill left. Come over here. Netflix The Witcher Blood Origin is getting review bombed. Netflix The Witcher Blood Origin has already felt the wrath of the online community over on Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, it's not just the online community, mind you. Because you can't hide this one. I'm sorry, guys, you can't hide this one. And towards the end we'll start pointing out some facts, because it's not just the audience that's hating it. As even the article we're about to go into from The Gamer, The Witcher Blood Origin has an audience score of only 8%, but many of these reviews perpetuate racist, sexist, and ableist talking points. I've gone through some of these reviews. I've gone through a lot of the 1-star reviews. A lot of them are saying it's total garbage, it's Hollywood narcissism, and it's a bullet point on why you shouldn't do this stuff and you should stick to the frickin' source material. But, as our lovely friends here at The Gamer, James Troughton, I think is his name. Her name? Their name? I don't know anymore. I don't know the rules. As we already pointed out, The Witcher Blood Origins, 8% racist sexist points. Well, let's get into this article, shall we? The Witcher Blood Origin seeks, well, that seeks is doing a whole lot of heavy lifting right there, to explore the beginnings of Zapowski's, because I will never be able to say his first name, world, unpacking the conjunction of the spheres where the worlds merge. Yeah, we know that. You know, they try to do that. The very first Witcher. Yeah. And the pre-collapsed elven civilization. Well, yeah, you know, they really seek to try to do that, doing basically something that took several thousand years, borderlining on millennia, in a month. So I already condensed down the whole show, the whole timeline to just 1 month. Supposedly, it kind of felt like a week. Like this whole thing happened in a week, but it's supposedly a month. However, this deep dive into The Witcher's past has become Netflix's lowest scored show to date. That's right, because it's freaking awful. I'm not even talking about Michelle Yeoh. I'm not even talking about like Chinese, block, dude. I'm talking about their actual performances and what was done on the show. It's awful. Michelle Yeoh's character makes no sense. Half the freaking time when they come up a new person, they go like, "Hey, you want to join our team?" No. But what if you do? Okay. I don't know half the characters. I didn't even know there was a famine going on until the final episode. And even then, I barely understood it. And then it wasn't until freaking yesterday, 2 days for you, the other day for me when I was on a stream with Lady B, Jed, Mustang, and Adam, when they say, yeah, apparently because the Empress is so evil and wants to colonize other worlds and stuff, she took all the food and, they went into a famine. And I was like, what? When was this ever said? Because I didn't even see it. Half the time I'm dealing with just awful on the screen, just awful performances, awful acting, awful dialogue, awful reasons for anything to be happening, because half the time it's plot says so. Yeah, that's the rules. Plot says so it has to happen. Sitting at only 8%. For comparison, Netflix's first season of Resident Evil had an audience score of 22%, and that was awful. Oh, that was so bad. The Hype House, which I've never heard of, clawed a score 4% higher than Blood Origin at 12%. Well, maybe audiences don't like that either. Critics aren't too fond of this Witcher prequel either, as it sits at 38% from their reviews. Well, wait, what? Critics, the people that oftentimes love these shows and will review bomb it for us, and then oftentimes when a critic likes a show, we're gonna hate it. Even they hate it. Now they're, giving softballs to the show, but even they're admitting that it's garbage. As reported by Forbes, this is something of a double-edged sword for Netflix, as The Witcher Blood Origin is its #1 show right now because everybody's watching it and hating it and making money off of it. Man, if I was monetized right now, I would be doing everything Az is doing right now. I would be doing my own watch parties like Jed did. I would be milking this baby left, right, and center. And I probably should. But geez, it's so awful. Being its #1 show, dominating the holiday season after its smash hit Wednesday. No, it didn't come out Wednesday. No, it didn't come out Wednesday. It came out on the 25th. It came out on Christmas. So the moment it hit the scene, everybody watched it because they knew it was going to be awful, and they were shocked at how awful it was. Again, I say it's worse than Rings of Power. Oh, and don't worry, the gamer goes into that. But while it's number one, the people watching it don't seem to be enjoying it. Oh my god. Maybe it's because it's shit. Maybe that's why we're not enjoying it. However, digging into many of these reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and other sites, a common thread pops up. Anger at diversity and the woke agenda. Well, it kind of is uber woke. This person right here. Rumor is they have something hidden in their pants. or had something missing in their pants, let's say that. She's paraplegic. She has cerebral palsy. She can't walk. Yet she's going into battle as a mage. She has to be helped around everywhere. Why is she leading a battle? Why is she classified as a hero when she literally can't walk? You have body positivity, mute apprentice girl who doesn't even do anything in the show, just dies. Spoiler alert. Yeah, she just randomly dies. But there's scenes where she's, doing the whole hand gestures, speaking, and nobody's actually looking at her, but they know how to respond to her. There's things that happen in the show that make no logical sense. Dwarf who's a dwarf, quite literally, little person who's a dwarf, so I don't know if I'm being ableist or what there, because it's an actual dwarf playing a dwarf, it's Arterian, is in love with her hammer, and is the Harley Quinn of the show, and Harley Quinn is better than this. And I don't like Harley Quinn, but Harley Quinn, she's a Harley Quinn. She walks around with this hammer that she's in love with because it has the ashes of her lover in it. She walks around with that, killing people and acting like a psychopath. They're all evil people. The only person I liked is this dude who becomes the first Witcher, but I only liked him. I hated him the least. How about if I start saying that? I hated all these people, and I didn't care if this world ended. That's how awful the show was. Woke agenda. With many upset at use of sign language. No, like I just said, she's doing her sign language, doing all that stuff. And somebody else, how you have to see what they're saying. Somebody else is looking over here. Yet they know how to respond. Somebody will be looking at the ground, yet they know how to respond. That's when we criticize the sign language. It's nothing else. It's not because she's mute, even though I do have a good joke coming out, but that's not the point. She's barely even in the show. She barely has even any lines. Despite the fact she can't speak them, she barely has any point to the show, except to die. Meaning that many of these reviews come from racist, sexist, and ableist standpoints. It is medieval Polish. Medieval Poland, yet nobody has the same accent. It just doesn't make sense. Randomly, she's Asian. Okay, this is medieval Poland. I could believe maybe an Asian or two made it over there, but she's the only one that's uber Chinese. Okay, half this stuff doesn't make sense for being at this time. Actually, it's even farther back than medieval Poland. This is BC times. This isn't AD. This is BC times when people weren't migrating around the world. Maybe one or two here or there, but not as many as we had here. So anybody pointing that out has an actual valid point. Now, I don't even care about the skin color. I'm more pointing out their performances, and it was dog shit. One look at Twitter and several of these same sentiments can be found. People slating it for having a woman lead. Oh, maybe it's actually more of what they were doing. The strongest woman ever who can sing yet can't sing. Also is allowed to assault people in broad daylight and is basically perfectly fine until she's not, and then is allowed to just walk away perfectly fine after getting thrown in jail and then breaking out, and is perfectly fine with that. That's all fine. Yeah. Perfectly fine. She can do no wrong. She's the bestest ever. All of them are the bestest evers. And we pointed this out in the review that will be coming out. All the women live. Except for the bad woman. All the women live. All the hero women, they get to live. All the men, except for all the men basically die. And then the only one that gets to live is maimed forever. And he was a pathetic man. Like, very pathetic. I don't even know his story. He was just pathetic. He's apparently Brother Death, and he was just pathetic. I don't know their names. I don't know half these characters' names. I know Strong Ravenclan, Dog Boy, who becomes First Witcher, Michelle Yeoh. Yeah, Michelle Yeoh, I always get it mixed up with Ming Na Wen. I'm not doing a racisms. I think you can see Dwarf, who's a dwarf. cerebral palsy person who might be missing a third leg. And then right here is her brother, who is, I guess, star brother. I don't know anymore. I don't know the rules. I don't know what the heck was happening. That's one of our biggest complaints is it's so shit we don't even know what the fudge is happening. Az is calling it CW Witcher Edition. Or The Witcher for the CW. Walking and talking, walking and talking. Yet I don't even know what the hell half the people's names are. Women lead. Decrying the lack of male lead from a series set 1,200 years after this one. Yeah. Because we wanted The Witcher in our Witcher show. That's what we wanted. You sidelined Henry Cavill. That's one of the reasons he's leaving, by the way. You weren't even respecting his source material that he loved so much. Excuse me. That's one of the reasons he's leaving. So yes, we can still be mad at both of them. While others are upset at the woke casting. I just went over it. Strongest woman ever. Plank of wood who's kind of a cerebral palsy girl who's going into battle. Or guy thing, whatever. Brown dude who's apparently her brother, but yet not her brother and is adopted. I don't know he's imprisoned in the first or second episode. He's imprisoned in the first episode. Imprisoned. Second episode, he's perfectly fine, out of jail. Michelle Yeoh, and dwarf who's a dwarf. And I still think I'm being mean for saying that. I don't know the rules anymore. So, yeah, maybe that is woke casting. Supposedly copied from Rings of Power. Yeah. Which, as we all know, invented diversity. No, when we pointed it out from Rings of Power, we knew what you guys were doing then. It was woke casting. It was woke agenda. Your woke ideologies. This was supposed to be a feminist show. The Empress is supposed to be a feminist representation. Yet she's evil. She's evil because all this stuff, and she does all this awful things because she didn't want to be married to another man who was not getting a choice in this wedding that would end a 1,000-year war. So she kills everybody and takes over power. You get this wonderful tweet from Carmilla. I read 30 one-star reviews of The Witcher Blood Origin and skimmed more on IMDb. This screen below is one of them. They're mostly copy-paste of the same, so basically racist and misogynists don't like it. More reasons to watch it. What is perfect? No. Was it perfect? No. Was it fun? F yeah. Oh, well, let's look at what she actually posted, shall we? So she highlights this part, but we're going to read the whole thing. The casting and characters are terrible. Yes. Casting today seems to be dominated by Botox pseudo models with no acting skills. Correct. People apparently have to look remotely like Vogue magazine cover model, have regular, bland, and totally forgettable features, and ideally puffy duck-faced lips, and I can't say that word, nose, so correct nose. Anybody Botox and Botox features. God forbid there could be somebody normal or with actual character or memorable features who can actually act in a movie. Wow, that's a good point. Why didn't you highlight that part? Oh, we come down here. To make things worse, some random and superficial corporate diversity department appears to have set quotas for characters. Well, we know that's true. We know there's DIE departments all over, from Netflix to Amazon. Supposedly they're out over at Warner Brothers, but I still think they're in at Warner Brothers. We know those things exist, so yeah, that's true. To ensure that the cast is politically correct, yes, that's a thing, following the pathetic woke trend, to make sure the characters are bland hodgepodge of identity less nothing. Yeah, they're filled with identity politics through and through. And it just keeps doing it. They point out medieval Polish forests are populated by Botox black elves, metrosexuals, and there has to be the obligatory strong woman who, despite women being biologically, physically inferior to men, that is truth, That is truth. He's just saying the hard truths are, of course, mighty warriors and who whack people around. Wow, man. When you keep reading this whole thing, even past this part where they want to highlight it, it's also cowardly with no guts for originality or edge, so cliche and formulaic, utterly devoid of intelligence or wit, and thus just pathetically bland, unwatchable slosh. Wow. Wow. Man. That's true. Everything this person said is true. You can't even show us more of these examples where you're saying, oh, they're just copy and pasting. They're just copy and pasting. No, you just give us one. Please, movie production studio execs, producers, and directors, stop the politically correct woke garbage, beat sheet checklist movies, and hire some decent quality writers again to create something original with soul. You can do better than this. Wow. Other than this part, I don't even know if this is an actual user, but shocking how this actually sounds right. This is not, I don't see anybody in here saying what she says. 31-star reviews, racist and misogynist don't like it. Man, I don't see where anybody's saying that. I don't see any of the racist or misogyny. Oh, you're pointing out where they said the black and everything like that? Oh, well, he also said this is Polish woods, medieval Polish woods. That doesn't make sense logically. Timelines or anything. And you know what? We'll just go back here, and I said this. You know, I like this one. You know, funny. I saw several 10-star reviews that said, "Oh, it's great." Yeah, I did when I was prepping for this. Another key reason mentioned in several of the negative reviews in the Henry Cavill is the Henry Cavill news, with many claiming that he left due to the showrunner's hatred of the source material. Actively mock the source material is a recipe for disaster and bad morale. Man, this man DeMeo actually was working on the show, so yeah. However, demanding him back. However, Blood Origin is a prequel separate from the main show, so it's hardly relevant. No, but the same showrunner is involved. The same writers are involved. The same people who made the Witcher series made this. So it's still pertinent. You can keep saying, oh, it's a prequel, so it's fine. It's a prequel, so don't quit saying that, but it's still pertinent. Whether the show is good or not is ultimately up to you. But landing Netflix's worst audience score isn't necessarily an indicator of its quality. I think it is. I think it's definitely an indicator of its quality because we're about to go through some of the reviews. And even if the show isn't great, the number is being dragged down by recent news and bigoted mentality. Well, why don't we go through some of these things? We'll start with The Witcher. Oh, look at this. 36% to 9%. Man. You want to know something? When these articles start coming out, when they start saying it's getting review bombed, what do you think usually happens? It's a call sign to get it to be review bombed the opposite way. When people start being told, come out and woodwork. Because yesterday, this got down to 6%, then made it to 7. Started at 7, went down to 6. Sitting at 9 right now because people are coming out and positively review bombing. I mean, look at this one. 10 stars. 3 out of 5, though. That doesn't make sense. Overall, but audience ratings are nuts. The Glass Onion gets such a high rating. Well, why does that have anything to do? And it was obvious would not, though acting was excellent. This I enjoyed far more. Cool moments, suspense in acting, and cinematography was decent. Good for what it is. A short, limited series. I enjoyed and became invested in these characters overall. Way more interesting than most of what is on Netflix. Wow. 3 out of 5, but gave it a 10-star review. Man, that kind of looks like a review bomb. There was another 10-star up here. Oh, where did it go? Right here. I'll preface this by saying I haven't read the books. Neither have I. I thought this was a great mini show within the universe. It was too short for me. They definitely could have done 8 episodes. Love the story, acting, and actors. Fight sequences are absolutely amazing. Well, what else? Is that all? Expected so much better. Here's hoping season 3 is nothing like this. Well, yeah. You get things like this all over the place. Oh, here's a good number 1. It's supposed to be a show about monsters, mysticism, and a harsh world. Instead, we get another weak and politically overcorrect Game of Thrones copy. Badly written, girl bosses, hideous songs, and several plot points that never get followed up on. It's so rushed, it's frustrating, and boring as a rash. Why are the elves humans with odd ears? Why are there no monsters? Why do you hire writers with no experience that haven't read the books or even played D&D? Oh, that's a good one. Man, that's a 1-star review. Man, that's really bigoted and racist, you know. That's awful. Let's go over to IMDb. Well, it's sitting relatively poorly. A 4-star rating out of 10, moderately at best. Man, you can see a lot of these. Man, kind of breaks stuff down in an interesting way. But why don't we read some of these reviews? Duh, it's a prequel. 10 out of 10. No, but it's not in the current Witcher universe. If you use that little gray cells, oh man, that's mean. Gray cells, and read the Netflix description, that would have been evident. It's a prequel that tells how the world of humans and elves merged. It tells how the convergence of worlds came about. Sharp writing without the usual stale fantasy quest characters. Well, it was a fantasy quest. This is in keeping with the tragic storyline that run through Witcher Prime. What? Oh, you mean the dude who became Witcher doing the Trial of Grass, the first Trial of Grass, which doesn't make sense because they don't have Elder Blood, but now you have to have monsters to make Elder Blood. But yeah. And then when you become a Witcher, you're supposed to be sterile. But after this dude became a Witcher, he could have kids. Yep. That's a thing. Not sure why there are complaints about diversity or about characters who want to see a just and equitable world. Equitable world. Man, I definitely want to see an equitable world. No, I hate it. Perhaps the folks who are complaining identify closest with the unethical, power-hungry, and dissident villains in the series. No, I just wanted everybody to die. I even hated the villains. I just wanted them all to die. I hated all of them. Just destroy the world. It was over. And yes, the series does connect eventually to the Cavill storyline. I thoroughly enjoyed this series and hope we see more about how the Witcher world came to be. I don't. I want this series to be done because you can get all that in the books, in the original stories, and all that. That's what we wanted to see. Well, not me. I didn't really care. But that's what people wanted to see. People wanted to see the source material brought to life. Not this. Netflix stopped this. Oh, I love that. Cringe. So what's up? 7 out of 10. This is not a review based on other reviews placed here that look pretty similar. It's an enjoyable tale. The cast are strong and the effects are okay. It's not The Witcher, which I think is most people's issue. It's a limited series, which makes it difficult to connect to the characters, but they are meant to be short-lived, but the dwarf character is great. Oh my god. We keep getting this stuff, so maybe when you see these stupid lines, these stupid things here, it's always the calling card to start review bombing in the other way. I'm willing to bet these numbers, if I refresh it, let's see if it goes up. Didn't go up. I'm willing to bet by tomorrow these numbers will probably start going up, because now these are the calls to get it review bombed the other way from people that don't even watch the show and will just say 1 star, 10 stars, it's great, 10 stars, it's great, and then bash all the racists and the sexists that are watching it, even though they don't exist. With all that said, guys, if you saw the show, leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. Or if you don't want to see it, leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it out with your friends. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video and go live. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.